Yo, I'm about to shit on this game for my whole review, but first, before we even get started, okay, let's say if this game wasn't Resident Evil 3, okay, and if it wasn't a remake in a series of remakes that have been some of the best remakes done in all the video games. If it wasn't Resident Evil, and it wasn't a remake that was like this huge lineage and prestige about it, this game would probably be getting 2 paws from me. If it was some kind of generic, you know, survival horror game that wasn't Resident Evil. But the thing is, when you are Resident Evil, when you are the follow-up to one of the best Resident Evils in a long time, Resident Evil 2, 2019, and when you're in the remake, you're in the remake lineage of, you know, from the original Resident Evil remake, and then the one that's from 2019, there's like this, they're fucking amazing, they're freaking awesome. And when you do this game that's kind of just this half-assed job, expectations. This is all about expectations. The standards were extremely high, the height was extremely high, and it just emphatically could not live up to it. It melted, it falls on its face, and so let's get right into it. It tries to be more action-packed the way the original Resident Evil 3 was compared to Resident Evil 2, but what made Resident Evil 2 2019 so good was, or at least for me, was the difficulty playing on hardcore. The zombies took a zillion hit points, and so I would often drop them and leave them without, you know, leave them alive, or take their feet out from underneath them, or, you know, take their arms or something like that. And they're crawling around. You're having to plan out each thing you're doing in the well, the police station is a mansion, and you're scheming and plotting. You're checking each bullet. It's all important. And Resident Evil 3, by and large, takes that shit away from you because it's constantly pushing you forward to the next area, and so you don't have a mansion type area. The closest you get is the original, the first city, which seems, I mean, I played Resident Evil 3 a couple of times. I don't even remember hardly any of the locations in this area compared to the original game. And it's just, you're in it, you're out. Nemesis shows the fuck up. He shows up immediately, and it's like, it's not even, it was meant to be a jump scare, but it didn't even scare me. He just pops through the fucking wall like fucking goddamn the Kool-Aid Man, and it's like all in bullet time. You don't really have control of your character. You watch a cutscene, and it's like not scary. Nemesis is not scary. He's not the threat that Mr. X is. He doesn't feel like he's overwhelming presence that's after you the way the original Resident Evil 3 does. And so he just feels like a scripted shithead. And I was able to predict when he would show up. I predicted, like, you know what? I've cleared out most of the city. There were some locks that I had just gotten. I got a lockpick. It's like, you know what? If I go and do this lockpick area next to this generator thing, Nemesis is going to pop out. So what I did was, instead of hitting that, I went through the whole level of the lockpicks, got everything I wanted to know, and when I went back, did the generator thing, guess what? Nemesis popped out. And so I'd already cleared the level out, and I don't have to worry about his ass. You just down his ass with a grenade, and he drops a upgrade for your fucking gun, and that's it. And so there's missing the sequence where you choose whether to fight him or run from him. During the Resident Evil 3, that's not fucking there. And it's just like, what the fuck? So if you minimize the survival horror elements of the game, you minimize Nemesis, it really becomes like, how good is it as an action game? Not very fucking good at all. No. It's basically, you know, if you try to get zombies next to the barrels and shoot the barrels with a pistol, if you ain't got no barrels and you have a nice shotgun the zombie's head off. If you don't have any of that, you try to hit him in the face a couple times till he dies, because they've minimalized the whole part where you would, you know, shoot their kneecaps and stuff out from under them the way you did in Resident Evil 2. It takes almost the amount of hits. It would probably takes even more. And so it's just, might as well shoot the guy in the face. And it takes out a lot of the strategies and things, the survival horror part, which is so important to making that, you know, horrorcore good. And you just have basically a third-person shooter that doesn't have very much going, even compared to Resident Evil 4, 5, or 6, honestly. As far as, you know, action-related, those games are superior in every form. And you've taken out everything that made Resident Evil 2 so good, and okay, so you pretty much got just graphics and Jill's boobs, and that's Jill's freaking really hot, really amazing. the most interesting parts of the game are probably when you're in Jill's apartment before you even start the actual game and you're walking around first person. You can see how crazy and disheveled her apartment is and how detailed it is. And then once you're get going, you push to the next area, push to the next area, push to the next area. And one of the worst things was I forgot the name of the monsters. It's like big frog monsters that eat your ass. They're in the sewer. They give you exactly the amount of ammo and fire grenades or whatever you need to kill them, and so you go through the sewer and you need to go back through the sewer, and it just feels like it's just a set sequence. You know, there's nothing there. It's like, here's 4 guys, go through the sewer, come back, here's 4 more guys or whatever, and it's like, what the fuck is this? It's just this linear corridor. Nothing interesting is going on. The new forms of Nemesis later on are basically just run around in circles while he's chasing you, and he's about to swing at you, hit the dodge. You got a dodge in this game, which is pretty good. In the hardcore, and I think, I guess the other difficulties, is real important to use the dodge. It was pretty good for the most part. You just, don't dodge into another monster, basically. You'll get gangbanged. But the fight sequences where Nemesis is a spoiler dog, it's crap. It's crap. It's not fun. It's like when he knocks you down or whatever, he's like all up in your face when you get up, like really close up into your camera, and you can't see shit. It's just not very good at all. And you're just running in fucking circles, like it's Serious Sam, except not as fun. So we're gonna give this game. Oh, and it's short as fuck too. It's pretty damn short. As far as the length, it's actually about as long as maybe Resident Evil 7 was, but there's something about how it just keeps pushing you and pushing you forward and takes away your areas you've been to. They disappear. So the most interesting part is the part I included here is where Carlos is in the hospital. It has a little bit. It's pretty intense there, and it is even though that's really just, there's not too much ways you could do it or anything. You just go through the hospital, and it just had an atmosphere, a build up that made it much more interesting than the rest of the game. And they took so much out of it too. They took, your choices on your sequences versus Nemesis. They took areas out, like the clock tower and stuff, and they push you forward, and so the game feels short as fuck, and you spend more time being annoyed and fighting Nemesis and some stupid shit that just pisses you off more than anything. And so we're gonna give it 1 paw up, and this is only if you pay like $30 for it. If you pay like full price for this game, you're getting ripped off. They're just throwing that resistance shit in there that no one's gonna play or give a fuck about, and just to fuck with you. Just to inflate the price. This just should have been like a DLC for Resident Evil 2. Honestly, that's what this game is. And so, if $30, I would give it 1 paw up. Kitty likes Jill, so we're giving the paw up there. It still looks phenomenal, but Brian's like pissed off because we just got done playing Resident Evil 2, and it's so much fucking better than this. And you can tell when Capcom puts in their A effort or puts in their B team. This isn't Leroy Jenkins, fucking intern in the basement, turning out half-ass ports for games, what Capcom loves to do. But this isn't very good either. And so we're gonna hope that Resident Evil 8's better. It's got to be better. You're calling it Resident Evil. Well, they're not calling it Village, but it's Resident Evil 8. But we got to get this shit going, man, because how often can you do this third-person shit or first-person shit, and then just it's sad, baby. It's real sad. What the fuck was this?